A retrograde ejaculation is what happens when you have an ejaculatory orgasm, and instead of your ejaculation going out your cock, it gets diverted up into your bladder. So this is something that happens to a lot of men who are exploring ejaculation control, and specifically a lot of men who are using a technique that's taught in this book, The Multi-Orgasmic Man by Montauk Chia, the $1 million point technique. And I want to show you a diagram from this book that'll help this land a little bit more. So I'll put this one up on screen right now, and you can see that in a traditional ejaculatory orgasm, your semen and your sperm would travel up this tube going around and would be ejaculated through your cock. What happens when you use the $1 million point is you press up on this area right here, your perineum, and you actually create a physical blockage that diverts the stream of your semen and your ejaculate up into your bladder. So this is not actually a non-ejaculatory orgasm. This is still an ejaculatory orgasm. It's just not leaving your body. It's going into a different part of your body. So the question that often comes up at this point is, how can I tell if I've had a retrograde ejaculation, and why is this important? So the first way to tell if you've had a retrograde ejaculation is to notice if afterwards, if you've lost any sense of arousal, if you've lost any part of your erection at all, if you're going into anything that even remotely resembles the refractory period that you're used to when you have a full ejaculatory orgasm, then that is a good sign that you've had a retrograde ejaculation. Another way to tell, which is a little more probably edgy for some of y'all, is to pee in a glass cup immediately after you have this experience. And if you look in there and you see some fluid that looks a little more viscous or milky or something that looks like semen, then that is pretty much a telltale sign that you did indeed have a retrograde ejaculation. So why is this important? Why does this matter at all? There are a few reasons, and the first one of those is that if you are trying to get to the point of multiple orgasms and tantric orgasms, energetic orgasms, full body orgasms, then having a retrograde ejaculation is pushing you in the wrong direction. It's not going to help you reach those higher states of pleasure because you're still going through the same biological process of the old school ejaculatory orgasm. And again, it's just getting diverted into a different part of your body. Another reason that you would want to avoid doing this, and specifically avoid that $1 million point technique, is because when you ram your fingers up in there and divert the stream of ejaculation, you are creating an immense amount of physical pressure there, and that's a really sensitive area of your body. And there's some conversation online that doing so can possibly damage you. It could possibly create some back pressure where you're putting yourself at risk for injury. I don't know of any studies out there that look at this, but I have heard of a few firsthand accounts of people who claim that they've injured themselves using the $1 million point technique. Another reason to not have a retrograde ejaculation or use that technique is because, energetically speaking, when your body goes into that full ejaculatory response and ejaculatory orgasm, it wants to eject your semen and your ejaculate out of the body. That's the point. That's what's happening. And when you forcefully stop that and divert it into a different part of your body, that is in some ways almost the literal definition of stagnation. And in a lot of these older esoteric traditions, that is energetic stagnation too, because that's something that wants to leave your body and the process has started, but you're not allowing it to go through its natural process. And again, there are other ways to get to the point of non-ejaculatory orgasm that feels literally 10 times better than any ejaculatory orgasm you've ever had. I can tell you that from firsthand experience. I just posted a video yesterday actually of talking about my first experience with a tantric orgasm that lasted for hours. It was fucking mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It was amazing. There's a link to that right underneath this video. Definitely recommend checking that out if you've never experienced something like that before, so you have an idea of what it can look like. And another quick side note, some of the main teachers of this tradition, from Montauk Chia's tradition, actively say to not use the $1 million point technique anymore. The guy who I've studied sexual qigong with a lot, Michael Wynn, he specifically says, don't use that technique. Don't ever use that technique. And I remember him at a training saying, I wish that technique had never been taught, because it creates stagnation, because it's sort of like creates a handicap for you. It's kind of like cheating in some ways. So don't do that. There are other methods to get to that non-ejaculatory orgasmic point that are much better, that'll help you experience more pleasure and more ease and all that good stuff. And if you want to know more about that, there's another video I posted called The Truth About Multiple Orgasms for Men. It goes into more details about this book and some of the misconceptions around multiple orgasms. And if you want to learn how to make love for hours and have all sorts of wild multiple orgasms and tantric orgasms, definitely check out my Orgasmic Mastery online course for men that's coming out in a few weeks. That's going to be awesome. And if that's something you're interested in, there's a link beneath this video. If not, no worries. Thank you for being here. I would love to know what this concept of retrograde ejaculation, what it brings up for you. Have you experienced something like this? Are you using the $1 million point technique? Have you stopped using the $1 million point technique? Let me know in a comment below. I will respond, and reach out to me on Instagram if you want to. All right, y'all. Subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I will see you next time. Cheers.